was a good weekend. I have my Eagles gear on. Both my teams won, but I feel sad for the Cleveland teams because obviously the Cleveland Guardians lost the playoffs and were eliminated by my team, the Yankees, and the Cleveland Browns lost as well, and they're 1-6. But Eagles got a good win over the New York Giants today. It's a beautiful day for a walk here. Absolutely beautiful for a Sunday afternoon walk after the 1 o'clock football games. It was a late night last night because the Yankees Guardians game did not end until after midnight. By the time I got out of traffic and got back, it was well after 2. So slept the morning away, got some extra sleep in, and then woke up for the Eagles game and watched that, and team won. So that's nice, but just trying to make sure I'm rested both physically and in body and soul before starting another full week of teaching. Coming back to enjoy a little bit of fall in the woods here. And the leaves are not as far along as they were in Maine by any shot. I'm starting to really miss my trail life. Having my hiking pole, my backpack, just camping in the woods. I'm looking for tenting spots. Like, oh, that looks like a nice flat spot. And I especially feel it when you come back into the woods here. I miss the woods. I'm going to be liking teaching, and I do like it so far. And it's good to be back with sports for a little bit, but I miss the woods. I'm also just back into the wandering spirit, just wandering in the woods, just enjoying the fresh air on a beautiful 72-degree Sunday afternoon. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about expectations and how expectations can really ruin mental health. They really can. I can talk about it in relation to trail, but also in relation to life and society, where I'm back to right now. In relation to trail, I think I was able to deal with the expectations once I learned how to not have expectations for myself, because the endorphins of trail kept any depression from surfacing or resurfacing. So I was always rekindling my mental health by hiking, by doing the physical work of hiking, which really helps your attitude because you're doing something physically good for yourself. I could talk about how I was upset by this or that, or how I didn't cover the mile early on, but that upsetness was quickly erased by the physical joy of hiking, and that joy mixed with the sadness of not meeting my own expectations or another person's expectations for myself would overdo the sadness that would result. So that's all to say that I think hiking and getting out in nature can really help any sadness or depression that can result from expectations. So I think that's a really good fix. But that does not stop depression from expectations setting in the real life as well. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I mean by that in this context here. Especially with my age group, there's certain expectations that are set up for where we're supposed to be in life. And if we're not at that point, it's like, well, what have you been doing with your life? When I was 20, I had a journal entry about what I expected my 20s to be like. And they said, by the time I reach my 30s, or by the time I'm 30 years old, I'll have these things in my life. And those were things like what a typical 30-year-old might have: marriage, a house, a stable job, and maybe starting to think about kids. But here I am at 28, almost 29 years old, And I have basically none of that. Certainly don't have marriage and don't have anything close to that. I'm very, very single. Certainly don't have a house, maybe a job right now, but is it going to be stable? I don't know. It's just don't have any of the things that I expected that I would have and that I dreamed of back when I was 20. And here I am today, reflecting on where I am and what I've done with those 20s in the eyes of myself and also in the eyes of society. There are times when I'm almost moved to tears about where I'm not at right now because I don't have someone who I can trust to confide in or come home to. But other times I'm like, well, that's probably a good thing because I do put too much hours into work. I stay at school till 7 o'clock at night. So maybe I don't have room in my life for that. But it does make me sad because, yeah, I'm an overworker, but then there's times when I come out here and I'm like, yeah, maybe it is for the better. I want to put all I can into work anyway, but it's not till I come out here into the woods and really think and reflect again that I can reset my mind and say, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe I'm exactly where I need to be. We don't always need to listen to our own expectations for ourselves or society's expectations for where we're supposed to be when we're a certain age, like my age right now. Yeah, I should be here and there, society might say, but I look back at the experience I did have in my 20s, and I realized that I have definitely grown from those experiences and have been blessed by doing much of what I've wanted to do. I've served as a pastor, which was a dream of mine. I've hiked the Appalachian Trail, which was a dream of mine. And now I'm a teacher, which was an early dream of mine. If that's not God moving in my life right now, then what is? But then I go on social media or I talk to a friend and I see another one of my old high school friends who's gotten married, who's had a kid, who's bought a house, and I go right back into feeling sad that I don't have that. It's not preventable. I just keep going back into that whenever I see a friend that is somewhere that I dreamed of being when I got to this age. I don't know if there's anything or anyone out there that is going to be the perfect fit, especially, to fit in my busy life of sports and staying at work later. I like the independent lifestyle. I do. So maybe that's what my life is meant to be. But if I've learned anything from my thru hike here and just conversing with God about what my next steps are, it's that trust in God to lay out my story for me in the appropriate time is certainly the way to go. I was getting worried on my hike about what I was going to do next. I was getting sad about it as I was starting to think about entering the 100-mile wilderness and such. And that's when I got a phone call that I would have a job out here in the Cleveland area. And I'm blessed by that right now. That's where I'm meant to be in this current moment. And this is where I'm meant to be right now. So if you have any expectations people expect of you or that you've expected of yourself that you're not reaching right now, I encourage you today that those expectations are not you. They're an exterior version of you that you don't need to be. What you need to be is the best you can be in the here and the now, because you are right where you're supposed to be right now. And God, if you trust God to lay out his plan for you, you will be right where you need to be, exactly when he plans for you to be there. And he has good things in store for us. Yes, bad things can happen, but God will use those bad things for good. So stay blessed, keep on embracing the journey, and always, happy trails.